This is Perspective is Everything. And today I want to talk about the truth. Okay? The truth in all aspects, the truth to set you free, right? So, when it comes to the truth, let's talk in the aspects of relationships first. I think a lot of men would have a better outlook on relationships if the truth was the way we led things. What do I mean by that? I mean, if men would tell the truth in these streets, I think we would be on a much better, more realistic dating game, playing field, if you will, if men told the truth. One of the things that there's so much audacity going around, right? When you think about how people carry themselves, there's so much audacity. Like, how dare you think that you're so great when the truth is that type of deal. Now, everybody can have a high standard of themselves. Everybody should think highly of themselves. But then there's a market out there, which we all know what it is, the dating market, that kind of like levels you out and should give you a realistic thought process of where you land. But that's not what we see. That's not what we get, right? So if one of the things that keeps men from telling the truth is the thought process of not having intercourse, not getting to have intercourse with who they desire to have intercourse with. So men don't tell the truth. Half the stuff that men agree with women on is solely because they don't want to be knocked out the running to have intercourse with that woman. It might be even more than that. All I know is for certain, men got to stop lying. If we stopped lying, the game would instantly change. Okay, it would instantly change. Half the things that we don't like that women do, there's somebody lying to her saying that that's okay, and he'll accept it anyway. And I have to put this on men because we kind of accept anything. Let's be honest. Once again, tell the truth. Let's be 100% honest. We kind of accept anything for the sake of intercourse instead of saying, whether it be superficial things or personality traits. Now, one of the things we have with this particular society that we live in right now is women walk around with very bad attitudes, and men, I don't know if I wouldn't say use the word we allow them to, because they can do what they want. They have autonomy. I'm not trying to, rule over them. What I'm saying is because we engage with women with bad attitudes for the sake of intercourse, they continue to do it. It's bad behavior. And we can't stop that bad behavior until we start checking ourselves to say, hey, I'm not going to deal with somebody who has a bad disposition. Maybe as far as my generation of men, maybe it's too late for us. But do we not tell the next generation to, tell the truth and not be so focused on intercourse that they end up ruining their group of women too? Is that what we do? I mean, there's almost a video going up every week of some woman online saying some stuff about men, especially when it comes to looks, and she's in that category of looks respectfully. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, because there's always another man in her DMs trying to get with her, she has the audacity to say some of the most outlandish things when she might be a part of what she's saying, but she can't even see it because men won't tell the truth. I think one of the biggest things that has set a lot of men free and stop having to play this BS game in the dating game is if they would just tell the truth. That's how we get these panderers. That's how we get them. That's how we get these guys that basically tell women everything they want to hear, make a buttload of money, sleep with all of them, and then get exposed after they've made buckets of money. That's how we get them. How do we stop them? I don't even know if we can. But I know for the most part, a lot of men that aren't in the game, in the business of just, well, let's say they're trying to look for a relationship. Let's say you're trying to look for a solid relationship. If you enter that relationship truthfully and not just to sleep with somebody, the odds of you actually having a real connection are so much higher. But it has to be based on truth, right? So I'm not exactly sure how we get there 100%. I'm not. But I do know win, lose, or draw, the truth is the best option. It really is. And I'm not, my hands aren't clean from this situation either. I was a young man before lying is part of the game. That's how I know it is the problem. That's how I know it's the problem, because that's part of the game. You lie to women. And what I can say about as far as women go, at least in a relationship sense, they kind of give us the benefit of the doubt of what we say is true. Now I'm gonna talk about a scenario. Let me go through a scenario for you. You meet the girl, right? Doesn't matter where you meet her, you're out and you get her number, and your mind state is, I just want to sleep with her. That's it. But you're gonna lie and play the role and even purposely, pay for a date or two. Once you get her guard down, she thinks, oh man, I really like him. This is real. This is where I say women give men the benefit of the doubt that our words are actually authentic. But in your mind, you're just playing the game, right? So you take her on a couple dates. You do the whole, hey, I think we can be together thing. That's another lie. You don't even see no future with her. You just want to smash and you want to go, right? So after a couple dates, let's say 2 or 3 weeks of dates, her guard is let down enough to where you actually sleep with her. Then what happens? You start falling off. You're not texting her and talking to her all night like you were in the beginning. Then it's like, man, you're really bothering me. Then it becomes it's not you, it's me. Yeah, that's how those come about. So you got what you wanted, and in the process, you ruined another chick. You see how that goes? And it ends up being a cycle, woman after woman. And it's not just you, it's not just me, it's millions of men doing the same thing to millions of women. Then we wonder why we got here in this position where all the dating pool got pee in it. That's how we get here. So instead, you won't tell that woman, hey, listen, I don't see anything with you. I just want to sleep with you. Give her the opportunity of first right of refusal to say, nah, I'm not down with that. Or she might be like, hey, I'm down with that. I didn't see nothing with you anyway. You're a good looking man, but I just, maybe we could just do it once and go on about our business. At least give her that choice. If you think about it, if you really sit back and think about it, it's cowardice. And I've participated in it too. I'm not, taking my name out of the hat. I'm in that hat too. Cowards. We are cowards to trick them into sleeping with us, knowing that she wants a relationship, but you just want to smash. And you don't want to get rejected on that level. Because that's what it really boils down to. Because if you told her the truth that you just want to smash, as pretty as she is, and nice body, and you just wanted to smash, she's going to say no for the most part. But that's kind of like what we need in our society right now. We need less separation, less smashing and lying to women and ruining them. And then when you get ready to look for that one girl that you want to settle down with, 15 other dudes and done the same thing to her. And she gave them the benefit of the doubt, and they lied to her, broke her heart, and now you're sitting here saying there's no good women left. At some point, we have to stop the cycle. At some point. Now, of course, there's always going to be detractors of, marriage is not nothing and all of this and that. Something has to be something else. We have to put our energy into something else and teaching something else other than just getting with women. And it's almost like any suggestion that we come up with, there's going to be a large part of the population that deters from that suggestion, no matter what it is, no matter what anybody says to do. So we're just going to keep going down this path of destruction in any alternative path that might pull us back, slow us down, or anything. You know, like for instance, men tell women to pick better, right? If they started picking better and not even picking, shutting the whole sexual experience down, then men are mad that they can't get none. Well, if you want some, pick one and make her your wife. Then you can have her all the time. Make sure she likes you, that is, you know, but then men would be mad about that. And it's like, geez, what can we do? If you're going to be mad that the women of today are so destroyed, but then when you were ready to pick one, you can't find one, but then you're going to contribute to what destroys them. How are we to fix this? And like I said, maybe, you know, I'm 44, maybe men 35 and up, maybe it's too late for us. Maybe our group of women are just destroyed. Now, I mean, men have the option, if you're financially, you know, capable, to get a younger woman. Cool. But then are you going to ruin her too by not, you know, telling her the truth or pretending that you like her and not marrying her? Then you're ruining a 26-year-old or something like that. That's too young in my book for me. But for the guys that wouldn't mind dating that age, at my age, would you do the same thing for her and then ruin her? Then she becomes a 35-year-old something that's now ruined as well. So my thing is, what is the solution? We know the problem. What is the solution? How do we get to the point to where we can stop the cycle? What do we teach the next generation? Because I know for a fact what women of my age are teaching the younger women is the exact same thing that they learned that got them in the situation that they're in. That's a fact. That's what they're teaching them. So as men, what are we going to teach the young boys? Like, for instance, I teach my sons, don't mess with a girl unless you see her as your wife. Because she could be somebody else's wife that you're hunching on and, you know, not going to do anything with, and you don't see no future with her, and you're going to drag her through the mud. I teach my boys, you know, not to do that anyway, you know, but still they're 18, about to be 19. They're becoming their own men. So I can only teach them certain things, words, but their actions are going to be of their own doing. And I try to tell them that, you know, you have a child at a young age and you're not married. You just entered into the exact same tomfoolery that everybody else is in. So now you're a part of the problem too. I tell them straight up. So it's like, if we're not going to teach our young men to be different than we were, and like I said, I'm not excluding myself in the situation. I am a part of that problem. Me too. And that's why I'm being 100% honest with myself. I'm a part of that problem. When I look at my own life, how do I turn around and fix that problem? I have to teach the new set of guys, 18, 19, 20, I have to teach them different. Even guys that aren't my family members, I teach them, hey, you know, focus on yourself, focus on a career, get a skill, and then find a woman, marry her. And I know that's not everybody's thing. I know marriage is not on everybody's table. I know that. But there still is a large swath of the male population that wants to get married, that wants to find a girl that he can be down for and she's down for him. That's still a thing. Even though we talk like it's not, it's still a thing. It still is very much a thing. So if you have the ability to talk to a bunch of men, you'll see that a lot of them, if they're progressing in their lives, especially in their 20s, their early 20s, if they're progressing in their lives, their marriage is usually still on their mind. Now, if they're just out running the streets, you know, getting fast money, however that is, then they usually don't have marriage on their mind. They're usually pretty much already gone, already corrupt, respectfully corrupt. I think because of the way we've been taught, which was basically nothing, Gen X, we were basically taught nothing. And a lot of us are teaching our young children nothing, and we were grandparents kind of early and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know. We got to get to a point to where we can actually change the trajectory. And on top of that, the family structure is more important than anything. And we can blame feminism. We can blame that, because one of the things I think about when it comes to feminism is, how did they trick women into thinking that a career is the most important thing going? It's important, definitely. But is it the most important thing going? Absolutely not. Nobody wants to work. If I won $20 million right now, I'd be sitting on the beach probably making a video, not doing nothing. That's exactly what I'd be doing. I wouldn't go to work. I wouldn't be working on nothing. I wouldn't be doing any. I like doing construction and working with my tools. I'd probably retire all of them because I'd want to sit still. So feminism has basically taught women that a career is the most important thing smoking. And that has also helped destroy the family structure. Another avenue in that is, we don't teach our boys to have any type of standard like we teach our girls, when you think about it. So girls growing up, we tell them, you're precious, you're special. Everything about you, everything about your body is special. You're a princess, you're unique, all of that. What's the verbiage for our boys? I honestly can't think of any verbiage that we use for our boys to tell them that they're special also. So when they become 17, 18, 19, and they're, ready to get promiscuous, what do we tell them to say? Hey, you don't go giving your little man meat to nobody but somebody that you deem worthy. Because as men, and when I think about my younger years, nobody was telling me that slinging dong around town doesn't make you better. It makes you just as used as the women. We like to, listen, we as men, we like to make that a notch on our belt. It really isn't. Because there ain't no new vagina out here. There's no special vagina to conquer out here. The golden one, there isn't one. So when it comes to our boys, I'm not saying the fathers of today are teaching their kids to be, pimps or stuff like that. But we're definitely not teaching them to spare themselves. I don't hear that. I don't hear that from the men that claim to be the leaders in the community. I don't hear none of that. We tell it to the girls, rightfully so, but we don't tell it to the boys that, your body is precious and special. And you should not give it to any and everybody, because everybody doesn't deserve you. I mean, when you think about the rhetoric of what we tell, what men hear nowadays, it's, who's going to be the boys, and you're sassy, all this other stuff that we do to shame men. But that's the stuff that we're supposed to be telling them, like, you're special too. Aren't you? When we look at our boys as kids, they're special. We care about them. And as soon as they become a man, it's like we don't care about them no more. Because that's exactly what they see as a 5-year-old, 10-year-old, 15-year-old, 19-year-old. What they hear is that they're not special. They're expendable, even. So it's like, how do we bridge that type of gap when, as a child, they're special, but then when they become a man, they become expendable? And nothing about them is worth keeping. You can't get out of the situation treating them like that, treating our next generation of men like that. So I know for me, like I said, I tell my boys, your body is the only one you got. And the decisions that you make with your body are going to affect you for the rest of your life, good and bad. And as a young 18-year-old, 19-year-old, you don't want to have a child. That's not what you want. You want to go out and experience regular life, not sexual life. Because that's kind of like what we teach boys to do. And it's not working. It's not working. And if something's not working, what should we do as men? Because I'm not saying I got all the answers. I'm just saying I have some answers. I've thought about it enough to come up with a couple answers. So as men, what do we need to do to change what we're teaching the next group of men? What should we do? Right? I would love to hear people's suggestions on it. And I don't know, not just suggestions. It's like, let's implement some stuff, because that's one of the things that you see a lot too. People bumping their gums online and no actions coming from it. Like, here's something that's tangible that you can actually start doing for a single mother. What can she start doing? If she has access to men, can we pass this message on to men and they start implementing and saying positive reinforcement to young boys? Hey, listen, that thing between your legs is special, not because of its size, not because of its girth, but because it belongs to you and is connected to your spirit. And you don't want to give that spirit to anybody. How about that? You know, what would that sound like to say, hey, that's not just something you give to everybody. You're supposed to give that to somebody special. We do none of that. None of it. So yeah, that's my perspective on that. Let me know what you think about it.